It is time for the January challenge, and this time we're combining some keto with some fasting, with some carbs, so that you can have the full metabolic flexibility approach. So a little over a week ago, I did the announcement video that broke this all down, talked about like how we're doing this, what's gonna happen. Now we have the whole diet structure. So a couple quick housekeeping things first. Okay, down in the description, there is a link to a Facebook group. Okay, I know some people will be upset that it's Facebook. You don't have to join it. That is a free Facebook group just for banter, just for community. I'll be popping in there. I just recommend it in terms of being able to have community as you go through this, share pictures of your food. I really just want to create some fun and just a fun environment with it, okay? Also, there's going to be some basic things with this plan. Unlimited veggies, okay? You can have unlimited greens, unlimited asparagus, unlimited broccoli, so it's not always notated here, but just know with whatever meal you have, you can always add veggies. I consider those a zero, like a free food. Like you can have those in this case. And then I'll kind of get into more of the details in just a little bit as we get through it. So the way this breaks down is Monday and Friday are gonna be your more aggressive fasting days. Pretty long fasts, like 18 hours, which is going to seem like a lot, but the neat thing is even though our calories are relatively low on this day, we kind of make up for it a little bit on Wednesday, which is still somewhat of a fasting day, except on Wednesday, we're skipping dinner. Okay, so Wednesdays, let your family know, Wednesdays, you're gonna sit there twiddling your thumbs. No. Okay, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, those are our keto days where we do not have carbohydrates in the picture unless you want them, which I'll explain in a little bit. So let's just go ahead and break it down. And just remember, this whole challenge is sponsored by ButcherBox. Huge thank you to them. You can get your meat delivered to your doorstep from them. Grass-fed, grass-finished beef, super cool stuff, really good lean chicken, really cool options, sockeye salmon, all stuff you can use with this entire protocol. So please do check them out. And even if you don't want to necessarily use it for the challenge, just because they are supporting this channel and making this kind of challenge possible, the best way you can give back to this channel is support them, because that directly supports this channel as well. So that link is down below in the description for ButcherBox. Enter whatever cuts of meat you want, delivered to your doorstep, easy peasy. All right, so on Mondays and Fridays, these are gonna be your 18-hour fasting days. You can cut it down to 16 hours if you need to, but just to kind of like give you the basics. And just so you know, like I'll put this all into a document too. So I'll put that link down below too. You can click on that and that way you can just download a PDF version of this so you're not having to like screenshot this, but this is for the explanation. You can have black coffee, tea, etc. Okay, no cream, nothing like that. You're fasted. You can have electrolytes, that's fine. Then when it comes time to break your fast, 8 ounces of chicken, fish, or 1.5 scoops of either whey protein or pea protein, okay? Optional, 1 scoop of collagen, or you could have bone broth with it. So basically you're breaking your fast with just clean protein, that's it, okay? Super easy. This isn't a meal, it's a strategy to break your fast. Then 2 hours later, okay, you're gonna be a little hungry. You're gonna be hungry after you break your fast, but 2 hours later, 10 ounces of lean beef is what I would prefer, okay? And then you have 10 ounces of sweet potato or 60 grams of carbs, any carb that is not does not have gluten. Has to be gluten-free. That's like a huge prerequisite with this. Okay, then 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And I know I don't necessarily like to combine fats and carbs a lot, but when they're relatively low glycemic, like a sweet potato, I'm pretty okay with some olive oil, especially given all the benefits of olive oil. So long story there. Anyhow, dinner, okay, so a few hours later, 10 to 12 ounces of lean protein, your choice. Again, simplicity is the name here. I'm trying to make it easy. I know it seems complex, but the food choices are easy. It's all about the timing here. Okay, so here's where you do have to pay attention. 0.25 grams of carbs per pound of body weight. Okay, I don't want you just eating X number of carbs. Okay, if you weigh 200 pounds, then you would be having 50 grams of carbs. Okay, 1/4 of a gram of carb per pound of body weight. Okay, if you were 400 pounds, that would be 100 grams of carbs. So you see where I'm going with it, okay? 0.1 grams of fat per pound of body weight. Sounds complicated, but that's a very easy metric to look at. If I was 200 pounds, then that tells me right there, 0.1 of that is 20 grams of fat. Okay, so that's what we're aiming for. So 0.25 grams of carbs, 0.1 grams of fat. And then I want you, any additional calories you feel like you need, if you feel like you add up your calories and you're still too low, I want you to add them by way of olive oil. It sounds crazy, but 2 tablespoons of olive oil is gonna get you over like close to 250 calories. 1 hour post dinner, have 1 ounce of like dark chocolate, keto chocolate that doesn't have sugar in it. Optional supplements, I'm not making this protocol about supplements, but ones I would recommend would be taking an omega-3, some magnesium, some tryptophan, maybe 1,000 milligrams of tryptophan, and a good probiotic. Okay, so now we move into Wednesday. So this was Monday and Friday. So Then we have Wednesday. Here's how Wednesday looks. This is called a skip dinner day. It's still fasting in some ways, but we're shifting the timing, and there's a good reason behind this, okay? Black coffee, okay? Then you work out, but then after your workout, guess what? This is where you get to have some fruit. Half of a large apple, okay? This is to have a combination of fructose and glucose, which I'll explain in a second too. 30 grams of a high glycemic carbohydrate. Okay, I would prefer in this case like bake a potato, because when you heat it, it's going to become high glycemic. White rice if you are okay with grains, everybody's different, but 30 grams of carbs coming from a higher glycemic carbohydrate like white rice, baked potato, along with half of an apple. 2 different kinds of carbs are going to allow for better delivery of the protein and the carbohydrates into the muscle. 35 grams from either a whey protein shake or a pea protein shake plus a scoop of collagen, optional, okay? This is what's important, not necessarily the exact things, but more so about the grouping of them. Do not eat until lunch. You work out, have that meal, that's it. Then you go to lunch, 10 to 12 ounces of lean chicken or some kind of poultry again. 1 whole avocado. Okay, we're getting the calories in here. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which tastes really good mixed up with avocado. 1 cup of veggies, I don't care what kind, but predominantly like Brussels sprouts, baby broccoli, things like that are perfect. 1 ounce of cheese added on there. So you see the calories add up. You're looking pretty hefty amount of calories there. Okay, 3 hours later. So if this lunch was around like say 12 p.m., 3 hours later, 3 hours later, around 3 p.m., you're gonna have another 6 ounces of protein. It sounds like you're stuffing yourself with a lot of food, but you kind of are for good reason. Okay, veggies again, however much you want, with 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of a nut butter of your choice. Macadamia nut butter, I'm even okay with peanut butter in this case. Let's just have fun. Okay, then once that meal's done, you fast. So at 3 p.m., you're done eating, okay? No later than 3 p.m. should you be eating. You're skipping dinner. 1 day a week, it's all you have to do. Trust me, when you're aligning fasting with your circadian rhythm in different ways, it's allowing diurnal rhythms to kind of match up. You have the synchronicity of having the environmental cues working upon the circadian clock genes in your brain, along with the peripheral tissues and the peripheral cues that are being casted upon by food and by timing of meals. Basically, in other words, you are stopping eating before it gets dark so your body clocks can kind of synchronize. You'll find sleep is good, everything improves, which is why I'm so big on adding the tryptophan in on this plan too. I want you to focus on getting good sleep. That's a big marker for me. So we're fasting here. So we stopped at 3. We're fasting through to the next day. In this case, the next day would be a Thursday. But this plan applies for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. These days, these 3 days, your calories are pretty low. They really are. And you're fasting, so I want to make sure we're compensating a little bit here in a proper strategy. But black coffee in the morning, then you have electrolytes are still good to go. Work out in a fasted state, especially after this day, because if you work out at 8 a.m. and you stopped eating at 3 p.m. the day prior, think about it. You're already deep into a fast, 16, 17, 18 hours into a fast for your workout. Talk about results, right? So post-workout, you get to have some fun here. 1 cup of berries, raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, any kind of berries there. Half a cup of white rice or half a cup of mashed, not literally like mashed potatoes, but mash a potato, okay, red potato, white potato that you've heated up, and 1.5 scoops of protein of your choice once again, okay? 1 to 2 hours later, 30 to 35 grams of protein, okay, your choice. Another 0.25 grams of fat per pound of body weight. So again, if I'm 200 pounds, that's 50 grams of fat. Okay. Now, what I do want to say is there's a little bit of a tolerable upper intake on this one. If you're over 250 pounds, I do not recommend that you exceed, say, 60 or 65 grams of fat in one sitting. Okay. So kind of note that. If you're even 500 pounds, you would still want to just cap it at that 65. I don't want too much. It's too hard. We don't have enough pancreatic lipase to really deal with that at one point in time, especially with how our situation is here. So in this case, avocado and eggs would be a great strategy for that. You could have however many eggs and avocado to get you there. It's perfect. And then lunch. Okay, lunch is going to be 8 to 10 ounces of, in this case, I say grass-fed, grass-finished burger. That's perfect because it's easy for lunch, but you could substitute that with any other kind of lean protein. 1 cup of Brussels sprouts or broccoli, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and 2 tablespoons of, in this case, you can have peanut butter, enjoy it. 2 tablespoons sounds like a lot. It is a lot of calories, but I mean, we're talking, come on. When you take 1 scoop of peanut butter, you're probably having like 4 tablespoons realistically. And finally, dinner. Okay, we got salmon. So 8 ounces if you're doing salmon. If you're doing beef, you're doing 6 ounces. What I'm doing here is as the day goes on, the meals are getting smaller. So this dinner is a smaller meal to instill a better sleep pattern. You can go 2 routes on this, totally your call. This can either be a total keto day, which I would recommend. I think you're gonna get best results if you let this be a keto day and these be days where you have carbs. And even though this is, not keto with this meal, there's a lot of kind of nuancy stuff. Post-workout, it's not really going to be a huge issue for you as far as ketones are concerned with this plan. So what I would recommend with this dinner is go with some kind of keto side, like have avocado, have Brussels sprouts with some oil on them, have cauliflower rice with some sesame oil, something like that. If you have a carb option, I would recommend you go with like 8 ounces of sweet potato. Okay, so you kind of have an option there. You can cycle in and out of it and play around with what you want to do. The most important thing that is here is the timing more than anything. And again, veggies are unlimited, okay? So this is all written out into a document that might make a little bit more sense, but I want to be able to explain the method to the madness behind this whole challenge. Remember, the Facebook group is there for all of us to be able to enjoy, to be able to like get some motivation, to be able to talk to people, for me to hop in there and motivate people. Also, I'll try to hop on some live broadcasts here on YouTube so that we can all communicate. And if you're watching this video later on after the challenge, this all still applies. Everything is still evergreen. It stays here forever. The Facebook group stays forever, so you can hop in and join. And don't forget to check out ButcherBox and get your box down below. I will see you tomorrow.